Welcome back everybody to Raspberry Gaming Presents. This is our continuing Platinum Trophy playthrough for the Centennial case, a Shijima story. We're about to jump into Chapter 4. And just a note, if you've been following along on YouTube and you got the first video but are unable to see the next two videos, unfortunately Square Enix is throwing down some copyright claims on me, and which I'm disputing. So hopefully they'll be able to come back up on YouTube shortly. But if not, you'll be able to catch all the episodes going forward on Twitch on my live stream. So let's jump into this. This should be Chapter 4, the River of Oblivion.
You might find what you're looking for.
Could these be?
This is picking up right where we left off last time when I made my save.
Handwritten manuscripts, the continuation of that story published in Centennial. It was 6 months after the murder at the private auction. In that time, I stayed close to Josie and continued investigating the stolen Tokijiku and the mysterious Scarlet Camellia. But I wasn't able to find any meaningful clues, and I grew more anxious with each passing day. That was when I received a letter from my uncle Azon.
Let's take a break.
I'm sorry.
Could you show me the letter again?
Yes.
Please allow me to attend this family event. Your father's life may be in danger.
He knew where we were, so he could have seen us in person instead of sending a letter.
He probably thought you just run away from him again. I hate to admit it, but your uncle's handwriting is exceptional. You can tell he had a good upbringing.
In his letter, my uncle called on me to take part in the family's succession, where the next head of the Shijimas would be chosen. The family succession. What does it involve? The letter also mentioned that my father, Ine Shijima, would be present. I was excited to see father again, but then I recalled the urgency in his voice when he ordered me to leave the house, and for a moment, I wondered if I'd made a mistake.
Take this and leave this place now.
Huh? Is someone after this Tokijiku?
This is my way of making amends. Yoshino, I'm sorry.
Did anything happen to him? Was my father all right?
The cold will get us if we stay in one place too long. Let's go.
If only we had some rice porridge. That'll warm us up a bit.
Rice porridge.
When I was younger, my father taught me how to make it, something my mother often made long ago, he said.
I see.
Actually, I don't know very much about my mother. I've missed her so badly. But my father never told me anything much about why she left us. My family's hiding something. I've always felt that way, ever since I was a child. Maybe it has something to do with the Tokijiku. Josie, you know something, don't you?
Let's go.
Josie wouldn't tell me anything, but that look of sadness only made me even more anxious. May we come in?
This way, please. Welcome. Miss Yoshino Shijima, I presume?
Yes, I'm Yoshino.
I beg your pardon. You're Yoshino Shijima. I am Misao Jinba, the innkeeper. And this is?
My companion.
Do you wish to share a room?
No, we'll take separate rooms if they're available.
That shouldn't be a problem. Now, if I could get your names here?
Looks like it was written with a fountain pen.
My uncle is already here, I guess.
It must have been cold outside. The winds from the mountains make it especially chilly around here.
Looks like it'll start snowing soon, too.
Oh, you'll find a charcoal brazier in every room. The baths are not far from your rooms. I'll be back again to show you later. The women's bath looks out onto the river, so you get a lovely view of the winter landscape.
Long time no see, Yoshino.
Where's my father?
Gene arrived yesterday, ahead of everyone.
Has something happened to him?
You can go see for yourself.
Josie, please wait here.
This is all your fault. How will you take responsibility for this if it ruins the Shijima family?
There's no need for a successor. It all ends with me as it should. I can't burden Yoshino with this.
Have you forgotten what our mission is?
I don't need to hear any of this from you!
Stop fighting! Uncle! Father!
Yoshino, what are you...
It's been too long, Father.
So you decided to join us after all.
Why did you come back?
I invited her. She needs to be here for the water lantern ceremony.
I said it's not going to happen, you insolent...
That's not for you to decide!
Enough! Get out.
Remember what I said, Gene. You know what happens if you refuse to go through with it.
Hey, son. You've gone too far.
I'm sorry for coming back, Father.
And I'm sorry you had to see all that. You look well, better than I'd imagined.
You also look well, Father. More importantly... What is the Shijima family's mission?
Yoshino. I am very happy to see you. But you shouldn't be here.
Father, I've brought a companion, someone who has done a lot for me. Come in. Father, this is Josie Kusaka. This is my father. What's with you two?
Oh, nothing. Please excuse me. My daughter says you have been looking out for her. I hope she hasn't been too much trouble.
Not at all.
Yoshino. There's no need for you to be a prisoner to the Shijima name. Go out there and live the life you want. You said you wanted to be an author, right?
Yes.
Then don't stop until you become one. There will come a time when women are truly free to carve out their own paths. I'm sure of it.
Father.
Josui, as Yoshino's father, I realize this may come across as a selfish request. But please, do take good care of my daughter.
I will.
Josie, I can't thank you enough. I believe that made my father feel better. Josie? What's wrong?
Nothing. But there's something I must discuss with your father. Yoshino, go on ahead without me.
What is there to... Josie? Something only my father knows about?
You can't leave. I don't want to deal with all this.
What's the matter, Uncle?
An emergency patient.
On this day?
Well, thanks to Gene, there won't be a family event for me to miss.
And what should I do?
You've come all this way. You might as well stay the night.
What about the lantern ceremony?
Yes, go ahead with it. Saita, someday you'll be responsible for the Shijima family. Make sure everything goes smoothly. Could I have something to write with?
Of course. Here you go.
If anything happens, send word to this address.
And don't forget to keep popping the triangle
Well,
button on all those
I'll leave
clues
the
that
rest to
pop
you.
up. And it leads to a trophy.
Excuse me.
A selfish ass. And poor Towako, you have to suffer too because of him. Anyway, I'm sure he's paying for the room, so please make the most of it.
I don't want to cause any trouble.
The lantern ceremony. Better start preparing for it, we'll be late.
But I wonder why he doesn't seem eager about it. Towako, I'm sorry for how my uncle acted.
You don't have it easy either, do you? Being summoned here out of the blue?
And I still haven't been told what the purpose of the lantern ceremony is.
It's not hard to imagine. We use fire to send off the dead.
Our ancestors, you mean?
Who knows? I'm not a member of the Shijima family.
I can't believe we're doing the lantern ceremony by ourselves. What's the point?
Well, we don't have a choice. My father told us to do it, so we have to.
Well, your father's in a tough spot too. I doubt your ancestors would be thrilled to have a runaway daughter and some outsiders sending them off.
But that's enough, Ayame.
What? It's the truth, isn't it?
Excuse me. I'll be in my room.
It's because of those things you said.
Why are you taking her side? You men are all hopeless.
Let's send these off. Yoshino... Yoshino... You're not coming back, are you?
I'm very sorry. It's selfish of me, I know. But being the head of this family? No, that's too heavy a burden. And now that burden falls to you, doesn't it? I think that would be much better for the Shijima family.
My father would never choose me as the successor.
Why?
Because I'm his dear son.
What do you mean? It's an honor to be chosen as the successor, isn't it?
No, it's not that. It's not that at all. It's not something to be thankful for.
What?
I suppose it's time you learn the truth. The true nature of the Shijima family. And the true meaning of the lantern ceremony.
Our true nature?
You know that we've been receiving the Tokijiku from the Sakaki family for many generations, right?
Yes. And they were wiped out over 10 years ago by someone who wanted the Tokijiku.
The Sakakis were the stewards of an important ritual, you see. There was a single tree growing in their gardens. The fruit of this tree was known as the Tokijiku. Hundreds of years ago, the Shijimas began the research on ways to stop aging using the Tokijiku provided by the Sakaki family. The Shijima's goal was to make everyone ageless. So every 100 years, a family member was chosen to consume the Tokijiku and become the subject of that research. But the way these subjects were treated was... they were essentially... human sacrifices.
Human sacrifices?
They had to endure all manner of abuse. It's no wonder their spirits were soon broken. Then the Sakakis, who took pity on the test subjects, offered to send each one off to the afterlife after 100 years. This is the origin of the succession. In other words, the Shijima's cherry blossom ceremony and the Sakaki's water lantern ceremony.
Then that would mean... Gene, my father, is an ageless test subject.
You must have realized it on some level, surely. Gane doesn't age. He's been alive for over 100 years. Today's lantern ceremony should have been a send-off. As you know, the Sakakis are no more, so now the Shijimas are in charge of both events. But Gane refuses to go through with the succession. He means to end our traditions.
Father...
I could never say this to my father's face, but I also think the research needs to stop. And the Shijima family has done even more reprehensible things.
What else is there?
Why do you think the Sakakis were suddenly wiped out over 10 years ago? It was the Shijimas who attacked them. 14 years ago, the Shijima's entire store of Tokijiku was lost. So, they decided to take all of the Sakaki's Tokijiku by force and killed them. And their home was burned to the ground. The Tokijiku that you left with, the one that was stolen from you, was the last of that ill-gotten hoard.
The Shijimas burned down the Sakaki's home, and father? A human sacrifice who doesn't age? Is that why he told me to take the Tokijiku and run away? But even if I'm free, my father could never leave the Shijima family.
What are you going to do about this?
I said I was sorry, didn't I?
Sorry isn't enough. I can't do anything without them. You know that, right?
Yes, I do. But calm down, Ayame.
How do you expect me to be calm like this? What are you going to do about it?
I'll go look for them later, alright?
Later. Always later. That's what's wrong with you.
Did
Yes, I know, I'm
something
sorry.
happen?
Are you
I
really
don't
sorry?
know.
Please,
When I heard
Ayame.
voices outside, I found them. Like this.
Come on,
What are
can't
you
you
going
just
to
forgive
do
me?
about it? You need to take
My
responsibility.
dear guests, is something the matter?
Sorry. I know it's late. This oaf bumped into me in the hallway and knocked my glasses off, and they fell out the window.
I already apologized. I didn't do it on purpose.
I know. In that case, go get them already. I can't see anything without my glasses.
You expect me to go looking for them in the middle of the night? It's pitch dark out there.
There are many places near the river where you might lose your footing. It would be best not to go walking down there at night.
I'll go find them first thing in the morning, alright?
Honestly, you're absolutely useless.
Very sorry.
It's okay.
Why don't we all go look together?
No, don't worry about it, don't worry about it. She'll only get more upset with me if you helped. I never should have married her. Oh, don't tell Ayame I said that. Oh, excuse me. Ayame!
Please rest well.
Maybe I should go talk to father.
So there's only one more observer trophy to get, the all-seeing observer, and that's awarded for finding all the on-screen clues. If you don't get the trophy, just means you missed one of them, and you'll have to wait until you unlock the chapter selected after the end of the game. But it's not
Father?
missable.
Are you awake? Tomorrow it is, then.
Morning, Yoshino.
Good morning.
I smell of drink, do I? Sorry about that. After the lantern ceremony, the night manager and I had a few rounds in the dining hall. Before I knew it, it was morning.
I see.
Anyway, I'm going home. Certainly don't want this outsider to overstay her welcome.
there's no need to be concerned about that.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. I like accommodating Azon and his whims. The life of a flower is so short. Go find love while you're young, okay?
Life is short, huh? What about flowers that last forever? Josie, good morning.
Morning.
How was your night? I had trouble falling asleep.
So did I.
You too?
Good morning, Miss Yoshino.
Is something wrong?
I went to wake Mr. Shijima this morning, as I usually do, but he still hasn't answered the door. He requested a wake-up call at 7 o'clock every morning. In fact, he was already awake when I went to his room yesterday.
Oh no, the red carnelian.
Father!
No, wait. Gen-A!
What on earth? It's as if they were put here to keep people out. Father! Father!
We're coming in.
What's that sound? Father! 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 Father!
There's no one here. Seems the murderer escaped through this window. Just a moment too late. Inform the police. Quickly.
Yes, of course.
Father!
His kimono is in disarray. He tried to fight back. A long, thin wound. It looks like he was stabbed once with some type of blade. The body is already completely stiff. The murder must have taken place yesterday.
Then why did the killer come back? Or was it the killer?
During the lantern ceremony, or possibly before that.
My father was killed by the Scarlet Chameleon. Tomorrow it is then. If I had just stayed with him.
This is my fault. It's not your fault. I'm truly sorry.
If my father was fated to meet his end here, perhaps fate brought me here as well.
Yoshino.
I'll do whatever I can do to find whoever killed my father. That's how I'll repay my father for having faith in me. And I will carve my own path.
I understand. We'll find the killer.
Thank you so much. This murder involves the Shijima family. Let me handle the investigation. What do you mean? Don't inform the police.
Well, I got in touch with your uncle earlier. He said he'll be back around noon, and the police must not be told anything until then.
Why?
Yoshino, my father booked the entire inn. We're the only guests here. Something goes wrong, and a Shijima could be named the prime suspect. You see the problem, don't you?
Not at all. What's important is that we find the killer as soon as possible.
Oh, I'm not suggesting we cover up anything. I'm just saying it's not too late to inform the police after we get our facts in order.
What's up with this messed up hair?
In that case, whoever killed father, I will uncover the truth. You'll help me, won't you?
You? What can you do?
For a start, please tell me what you were doing this morning.
I was in my room. I was waiting for Saeta to come back from the riverbank.
I was at the riverbank all morning searching for Ayame's glasses. I found them downstream. They got caught on a piece of driftwood, thankfully.
No one has a solid alibi for this morning, around the time when someone escaped from my father's room. Toako was already gone, but she left the lantern ceremony early. Then she drank with the night manager in the dining hall until morning. The night manager confirmed that they were together all night.
We still don't know when Gene was murdered. Identifying the killer this way might be difficult.
Right now, our only clue is the rope tied to the railing outside that window. Let me investigate some more.
Calling it a rope, but it looks more like twine to me.
The inn staff kindly moved my father's body. I'm sure he would have found this room too cold.
The killer murdered Gene yesterday at night, then returned to this room in the morning. So the question is,
What did they come back to the room for? That is the missing link, right?
It would seem to be.
perhaps they realized some incriminating evidence had been left behind. Or are they searching for something else?
Something like...
There aren't any potential hiding places either.
Why come back when it's light out, instead of under the cover of night? The killer might have left a clue somewhere. It won't turn on.
As I thought. The light bulb in this room was burned out. That's why the killer had no choice but to come back in the morning.
That means the killer knew the light bulb was burned out.
Yes. And so they waited until morning.
What could be worth the risk?
Has anything changed in this room since yesterday?
Oh. The ashtray is missing. My father was a smoker, so it's odd not to see one in this room.
The ashtray?
The killer got out through this window, using this rope. It looks like there's something tied to it.
Wait, don't pull it up. I'll go down to the riverbank and see.
Did you find anything?
Yes, there's a cast iron kettle tied to the end of the rope.
A kettle?
Yeah. You can pull it up now. I'll look around and see if there's anything else.
This is heavy.
It's a kettle. Come on, not a weight.
Yoshino! Look, it's an ashtray. I'll bet it came from that room.
So that would mean the killer took it, but dropped it during the escape?
Mr. Eisen Shijima has arrived.
How on earth is Gene dead? Murdered at that! What are you gonna do about it?
It isn't our fault.
What's that?
Please calm down.
Who the hell are you?
Trust me, I won't. Let the killer get away with this.
Diggs BTW7, what's up? Just going through this the Centennial case here.
Father, Gene, was killed at a
Sherlock
inn
Holmian
where a
game.
Shijima family ceremony
Working on the platinum.
was held. Sometime yesterday, someone stabbed him in the chest.
Early this morning, we heard the sound. of someone escaping when we rushed into this room. The rope found hanging from the window must have been left behind by the killer.
Whoever killed Father must still be in this inn. We can't let them escape, can we? I will do whatever it takes to uncover their scheme.
Alright, notable about the room. Let's start all the way at the end here with the ashtray. Burned out light bulb. The Tanuki statues. And now we're looking for a kettle. There it is. Why did the killer return? These two right here. And this one. Sorry about that delay. My dog was yapping. I had to take care of him. So, why was an ashtray found by the riverbank? There it is, the flow of the river. How did the killer escape? Open window. Let me see, there's one more spot in there that we have to deal with. And that's this one. Okay, on to the next one. Where in the room did he hide? Low table. Last two are right here. Lots of hypothesis with this one. There you go, another trophy. clues for diversion. Alright, kettle. There's really only one answer for that one. Heavy kettle. Alright, more bosses available. Oops, here we go. Get nice. Body is 1. And that one needs one more to go with it. And there's the other one, tipped over table. This is the bottom one. This one. Start with this one, faint distant sound. more. There it is. Couple more hypotheses available now. Why was the base knocked over? Okay, we're out of clues up this side. Swing rope. Winds from the mountain. Right, for sure. Okay, next one. Why did the killer knock it over? Two more clues. Oh, we're getting near the end. Oh, we're done at the top, my bad. Here we go. Kimono in disarray. And now a whole bunch of clues or hypotheses with the next one. And since we're right here, we can just start with persons present. choice number 2. Here we go. Couple on this group. And also from this group of clues, Night Manager's testimony. And then at the bottom of it, I think it's all the way, should be back here in the beginning somewhere. Yeah, these two right here. This one, and this one associated with it. Just one more to go. When was he killed? And this one is pretty obvious. The body is stiff. So you see these choices are eliminating all our suspects or limiting us to certain suspects depending on the timing. The truth is clear. We should have actually saved before I triggered this,
Well then, let's think about
but
what's
we can
happened
save it
so
right
far.
here.
First, is there anything that caught your attention?
So while we're right here, all right. Okay, let's finish the reasoning. Still need to drop a save before we make any
All right.
mistakes in the next part.
Use your reasoning to find the culprit.
Got it. I will make them confess. Let's make sense of this.
And let's save the game. We should have overwritten back here. But we'll overwrite this one.
Here's what I thought at first. The killer murdered my father, Genne, last night. They were also looking for something in this room, but it was too dark because the light bulb was burnt out, so they tried again. When we came by to wake my father, they panicked and escaped through the window using the rope.
That must be what happened.
But one thing puzzled me. If the killer was fleeing in panic, then there is something that really doesn't make sense.
Oh, there is?
Yes. It's the fact that...
So with all those hypotheses, we're really only going to have two choices here. So first thing is the rope was tied securely. No panic.
This rope is fastened securely to the railing. You wouldn't think that it had been tied in a hurry. We can deduce that this was definitely not a spontaneous action by the killer.
Ah, so the killer had planned from the start to escape to the riverbank.
Which leads us to my next question. If the killer did, in fact, climb down this rope to the riverbank, that means there was something they didn't know. If they had known, they certainly would not have picked that escape route.
Something that would make them steer clear of the riverbank. Information that the killer didn't have?
Indeed. Something that was known to everyone, except the main suspect in this case. Namely...
So the killer didn't know that Saida was at the river.
the fact that Saita planned to go search for Ayame's glasses at the riverbank this morning.
You mean the commotion last night?
Yes. Try to recall what happened.
Those who are present knew about Saita's plan to search the riverbank in the morning.
Yes, I know, I'm
Something
sorry.
happened?
Go get them already. I can't.
No one in that group would choose the riverbank as an escape route.
That's a good point.
That leaves only one person. Who could possibly be the killer?
Person who left before all the commotion.
The killer is...
Nope. Nope. Yep.
Uncle. You're the killer. You missed the commotion last night, meaning only you would think it was safe to flee to the riverbank.
I see. So I murdered Genne yesterday. forgot something important and sneaked back in this morning. Then I appeared before all of you pretending to know nothing. How interesting. But I have an alibi. I was with a patient last night. Right up until Ayame contacted me this morning.
Yes. I am sure that is true.
In that case, I couldn't be the one who fled this room, am I right?
Uncle, you were...
So it's right here. The killer wasn't in Gane's room. So you can read all the notes at the bottom of it explaining it.
You didn't escape.
I'm glad you understand.
You only made it look as though you had escaped, using a simple trick.
A trick?
That rope, the cast iron kettle tied to the end of it, the vase, the Shigaraki Tanuki statue. You used all of these objects to trick us into thinking that the killer had escaped through the window.
All right, let's hear it. This kettle at the end of the rope. What do you make of it?
The obvious answer was used as a weight, because it isn't strong enough to hold up a person's weight.
The kettle was used to pull the rope. You used a Tanuki statue to hold down the rope, with the kettle end of the rope outside the window. When someone opened the door and moved the statue, the rope would be pulled into this room, and the end tied to the kettle would drop down to the riverbank. This is exactly what happened when Josie opened the door this morning.
Even without you nearby, the trick would be set in motion automatically. And that's how you intended to evade suspicion.
You really do have quite the imagination. So, what about the vase? I have an interest in ceramics. Yes, but what does that prove?
As for the vase,
Another distraction. We were meant to hear it.
you set up this vase because you wanted us to hear the sound of it falling over. By putting the rope around the vase, it would be pulled off balance and fall over. Hearing that sound, we would be convinced that the killer was inside this room.
Interesting theory. But that's all mere conjecture. Perhaps the killer actually used the rope to escape. That seems more plausible, no?
But then, I can't think of why the ashtray would end up at the riverbank.
What ashtray?
The one which was beside the window yesterday was found on the riverbank.
So what if it was?
Think about it. To make us think the killer had escaped from the window, you needed the tanuki, the rope, the kettle, and the vase. That's all you needed. The ashtray didn't serve any purpose. So the reason we found it at the riverbank was...
It got caught on the rope.
You didn't intend for it to happen. By sheer chance, the ashtray must have caught on the rope as it slid out the window. And if you were at the riverbank, would you leave the ashtray there? What if your fingerprints were on it? Or what if my father had left something in it that might incriminate you? That seems possible, and you would probably come to the same conclusion. In short, you would definitely take the ashtray and run, but you didn't. Because You weren't there at all. Let me say it again. The killer is.
You have to point him out again.
You're the killer, Uncle. Aren't you? It's time for you to come clean.
And we have 3 more affirmations we have to come up with.
Now, let's accept for the moment that the rope was a diversion that was left by the killer. In that case, that means it was put in place right after Gene was murdered. Which brings us back to the main question, who murdered Gene? So, do you have any evidence that points to me?
I do. But before I explain my reasoning, there's one thing I'd like to ask you, Uncle.
What is it?
So it's borrowing a pencil.
When you left to attend to your emergency patient, you borrowed a pencil from Misao, didn't you?
Yes.
Here is the guest book, which Misao has kindly shared with me. This is your writing, isn't it?
It is?
Looks like it was written with a fountain pen. The ink and the lines are clearly different from the others. You wrote this with your personal fountain pen, Uncle. So, why did you borrow a pencil from Misao? It doesn't make sense, given that you used your own fountain pen to sign the guest book, even.
Well,
So, why?
Because...
Perhaps
Fountain pen was out of ink.
your fountain pen was out of ink, wasn't it? You kept it in your sleeve, perhaps, and it broke during your scuffle with my father. Isn't that so? And I'd wager you didn't notice the broken fountain pen at the time. Because if you had realized it, you certainly wouldn't have left such damning evidence at the scene of the crime.
Evidence?
The black,
What evidence could there be? Out with it!
black stains on the mat. There it is, the blood stains on the mat. Those are the last of the clues.
Father's bloodstains, all dried up and tinged with black. But this shade of black is more than just dried blood. It contains some of the ink from your fountain pen, you see. You got in a scuffle with my father, and the pen that was in your sleeve broke. The ink that leaked out got mixed with my father's blood. Am I right? Once we compare the composition of these stains and the ink in the guest book, the answer will be clear. This ink is the evidence that you are the killer.
Oh, no.
We solved the mystery. But one question still remained.
Well, who the hell are you?
That's my very insightful companion and fellow investigator. But more importantly, Uncle, tell me why you killed my father. Answer me.
Saita told you the true purpose of the succession, I presume. This is Gene's last year, and you were next in line to become ageless, Yoshino. But Gene not only let you escape, he even gave you our last Tokijiku, the only one left in existence. Gene vehemently opposed the Shijima family's research. He let his successor run away with the Tokijiku in an attempt to end the tradition once and for all.
And that's why you murdered him? How could you? How could you, Uncle Asa? I'll never forgive you. You didn't have to kill him!
Silence! So what if one tired shell of a man dies? Let go of me! Don't touch me!
Is that a chameleon?
Dun dun dun.
So you're a Scarlet Camellia after all.
Why are you meddling in our affairs? Have we met before?
My name is Josui Sakaki.
Sakaki.
Kusaka's a false name. Don't tell me you've forgotten the name Sakaki. So it was you who left. A red camellia on the wreckage of my family home.
I see. So there was a survivor. That explains why we only found one Tokijiku in the whole estate. You'd taken them all and fled, hadn't you?
You took away my father, my mother, my child. I will never forgive you for killing my family!
Do you really think you're stronger than me?
Josie! Are you alright?
So Eizan Shijima's a Scarlet Camellia. I will make him pay for his crimes no matter what it takes. I'm sorry. You got dragged into this again, Yoshino.
What are you saying? I wanted this. This is just the beginning.
But we should not be together anymore. Just forget about me. Go out there and live the life you want. Otherwise, Gene won't be able to rest in peace.
Josie! Soon the snow began to fall, stealing away the last remnants of warmth. Left behind, alone in the dead of night, I silently watched the world around me fade to white.
max score. We have a little bit of, like always, there's another trophy. We have the epilogue that will follow up after. Let's just go on into the epilogue portion of chapter 4.
The ageless Genne Shijima murdered in cold blood. Then there's the Red Camellia.
A murder every 10 years. And at the scene of each crime, another red camellia.
Every 10 years, another tragedy befalls someone in the family. We're the only ones left.
So, Eizan Shijima is the Scarlet Camellia. But if that were true, then there must be someone of Eizan's height and build at both that nightclub in 1972 and here in the present. There's no guarantee the Scarlet Camellia is just one person. Hello? Eiji?
My father's regained consciousness.
Really?
He's still suffering from nausea and paralysis, so he's not out of the woods yet.
Hold on for just 1 second, Neiji. I'll be going now.
Don't worry about me. My wait's finally over.
So you were able to talk to him?
A little. I asked him about that skeleton. He said he dug it up because of what his father, my grandfather, Seita, said on his deathbed.
The long-concealed sins of the Shijima family are buried beneath the cherry tree.
Did he mean that skeleton?
Yes. I wanted to make amends while I was head of the Shijima family. I knew and yet kept quiet. So I must atone for that sin as well.
But Granddad only told him about the skeleton's existence. We still don't know who it was.
Even if it's part fiction, there must be... Eiji, I've learned something interesting too. The continuation of the Shinseinen story was in the storehouse somehow. In it, a character named Saeta Shijima talks about the Tokijiku.
Huh?
It seems the human experiments that Ryoe talked about in the nightclub story, they really happened. What's worse, every 100 years, the current test subject was killed, and a new one was chosen.
What are you talking about?
The Shijima's research on agelessness was built on human sacrifices. Your father wanted to end that tradition as well, surely.
I see. So that's why he refused to talk about the Tokijiku.
If everything in this manuscript is true, then Ryoei's story makes complete sense.
I agree.
If we had the Tokijiku, would Ryoei get better right away?
No. The Tokijiku makes you ageless. It doesn't make you immortal. Wait. Actually, my father was poisoned with arsenic. Arsenic poisoning inhibits cell proliferation and DNA repair. If I'm not mistaken, and the Tokijiku does somehow get telomeres to repair DNA, it just might cure him.
Can you think of anywhere the Tokijiku might be?
It might be in that room.
What? Room? What room do you mean?
I can't say for sure, but I'll check it out.
Hold on. I'll go with you. Hey, wait, Eiji! Jeez. Akari! What are you doing here?
You weren't back from the storehouse, so I got worried. And then I found this.
This is...
What that detective was knocked out with, I think.
So the killer hit him on the back of the head with this pot.
All right. Epilogue hypothesis time. Large rocks that we originally thought or hypothesized to. Maybe you didn't actually think so. Or is it the flower pot we just found? All right. There's only 3 clues left, so they'll all fit where they need to fit. There's one possibility. grab the last one here. Alright, so after doing all these new hypotheses regarding Nishimura's murder, we're going to have to select the most viable one to continue with the story.
Wait a second. If the murder weapon was this flower pot, that means...
This is the most obvious answer. And we'll progress the story.
If I recall correctly, Yayoi said she hit the detective with a rock, but there's a flower pot here with blood on it. What Yayoi said was a lie.
Maybe she's covering for someone?
The real killer is still out there. In any case, let's keep looking for Eiji.
Okay,
Have you seen Eiji anywhere?
Oh, the
we're
second
about to
son?
get to
He just
Chapter
left a
5, The
moment
Prison
ago.
of Devices.
Of course he did.
He
Don't
looked
forget
like
to
he
friend
was
and follow us
searching
on
for
Twitch. If you're on
something.
YouTube,
I
like the
think he
videos,
was headed
subscribe
for
to the channel.
storehouse.
Much
Maybe
appreciated.
they've passed one
I will
another if he
try to
went
keep
there.
posting these on
In that
YouTube. Like I
case, he
said,
must be mistaken.
Square
Let's keep
Enix
looking
is
elsewhere.
making a copyright
Thank
claim
you.
on my streams, so it's a bit difficult to get them posted. I'm disputing it. We'll see if the dispute goes through, and all the videos that I've created regarding this will all get posted or not. But I will make sure that I stream all these from here on out
Eiji's
so that
not
you can
here.
catch
He
them
went
there
to
in
look
the
in the
stream
Tokijiku,
on
didn't
Twitch.
he?
Probably.
My streams stay up for
I'll
60
try calling
days,
him.
so you can find it there.
No answer. What? 1973. That's the year after the nightclub murder I just read about, but why is this here? What? Josie Kusaka jumped off a bridge and died?
What?
If this is true, then that detective who called himself Makoto Nishimari...
Nice to meet you. Yet another murder, I see.
wasn't Josie. But in that case, why did Yayoi lie about killing him?
Wait, look at this.
The Prison of Devices.
This place is pretty big. When I was a kid, I got lost one time and ended up in this weird room.
Yoshino trapped in a secret room.
Alright, you guys,
Do you think
I'm going to
this
make a
story's
save
about
here,
this house?
and then we'll start on with the
If it
next
is,
chapter, chapter 5 in the next
we might
video.
find a
You
clue
guys
here
take care,
about
and
where
we will
Eiji
catch you
went.
Yes,
next
that's
time.
possible.
Be
Haruka,
safe.
I will go and